Hey out there. This is Friday, April 22nd, 2016. And here in Northern California, it's just a couple of minutes before 4 in the afternoon. I woke up the other day and I could barely talk. Sounded like I'd been yelling. But it came out of nowhere. I didn't really feel sick, but my voice was almost gone. And I remember they'd been doing a lot of heavy chemtrail spraying recently, and we had rain showers quite a bit earlier today here in the Chico area, and it might be entirely man-made rain that we experienced, but who knows these days? It reminds me of these UFOs I spotted on my cell phone video file that was about a year and a half ago. I found these things, but I mean, these days we don't know what's going on. I mean, with the information that guys like Edward Snowden have released, Bob Lazar out there, and so many other very reputable people have, said, look, there's interaction, there's other beings, there's other crafts, and all this stuff. Who knows? And then the history of the Bible and other history sources. There's Pakistani cave paintings, some 7,000 years old, they say, that depict flying crafts before there was so much as a hot air balloon in terms of technology. But whatever it was, it could have been, these days it could have been our own technology that's advanced and kept secret, or it could be holograms. I mean, who knows? Until somebody comes down and actually talks to you, I guess, it's going to, and gets on the evening news, it's going to be hard to convince anybody one way or the other. I don't want to spend any more time talking about this, though. We know it's been kind of a lot in the news with the campaigning and various faux pas from various candidates out there, and the bickering and debating that's going on, and the division. The division, that's the one that's giving Satan a good belly laugh. By now his ribs are hurting. There's been so much division in this country. And we should all know by now this is one of their MOs, the methods of operation by the New World Order cabal and all their assorted various sundry minions thereof, witting and unwitting. A lot of people just go along because they're going with the flow. They're putting bread on the table, keeping a roof over their head, collecting a paycheck. So there's a lot of people that will go along, unfortunately, because of their small-mindedness, their short-sightedness, and they're just indifference to tyranny. And indifference to tyranny is, tolerance and indifference to tyranny is an unnatural state. Human beings have an inherent desire to fight against injustice. We're not okay with injustice. I know I joke with people. I'll go to a store and somebody will ask, how you doing? And I'll tell them, oh, I'm perfect. And, shortly thereafter, I'll explain to them that, I'm not really made that up. I'm not perfect. I'll be happy when the last guy on earth is finally happy. And really that says a lot about the kind of person I am, who I want to be at least. I want to be the kind of person that cares about other people deeply and profoundly. And that's the kind of person I would like everybody to be. If we were all that kind of person, we wouldn't have the problems we have. We'd be powerfully determined to solve our problems, to get to the bottom of the problems. But now, in the news recently, we lost Prince just the other day. We were the same age, I'm slightly older than Prince, but there's rumor going around, at least InfoWars put it out there, that, perhaps this was chemtrail flu, what he got. But again, these days, who knows? These are those strange days that guys like Jim Morrison and the Doors talked about so many years ago. We're living in them. These are the days, if these New World Order cabal types are not following a script out of the Bible, they might as well be. Because if you talk to Bible scholars who have devoted their lives to the study of Bible prophecy, you will find out that a lot of them say, look, this is very easy to decipher that we are in those days that Jesus said to look out for, the latter days, just before the end of the age, before his return and the reclamation of the earth. He comes with this throng of holy angels. These are also known as the harvesters of the souls of men. And then he separates the wicked from the righteous, much like a farmer would separate the wheat from the chaff, the wheat from the weeds at harvest time. So it makes perfect sense that although God is infinitely patient and restrained and long-suffering with humanity, and those are good things, and we should look to God to be more like that, nevertheless, for the sake of being just to the righteous, he has to mete out justice and prove that he's not a paper tiger, that at the end of the day, ultimately, he decides what he's going to tolerate, how much he's going to tolerate from the evil ones. Because we as human beings believe guys like, I believe Thomas Jefferson, who said that the amount of tyranny you tolerate is the amount of tyranny that you will live under, which makes perfect sense. But it's so important to show the kind of grace that God shows to us. We all need that grace. One of the first steps to not being pathetic and pitiable, not only as a race but as individuals, we have to rely on the grace of God. We have to say, God, I throw myself at your feet because I'm having a really hard time contending against the evil in this world. It looks like it's winning, and it's taking away my joy. It's making me fearful, and I need to lean on you. I need to trust you. And God invariably shows his grace to me as an individual. He tells me he loves me and he forgives me, and he wants me to do these things for myself too, to give myself that grace, to give myself that love and the forgiveness, to know I'm only human and all I can do is strive to be a better human being, a nicer, kinder, gentler, more loving, more caring human being, more altruistic, more benevolent. Just decide deep down in my heart the kind of person I want to be, and that it's an unrelenting pursuit of the things that will ultimately bring me happiness and everybody else. But we rely on God. And as partakers of God's grace, all of us, witting and unwitting, we're oblivious to the fact that it is every breath that we inhale and exhale is a gift from above. And any time God would want to end that gift, he could. But it's an example of just how obvious and tangible, real his grace is. It's everywhere. He loves us. What makes sense? What's logical? That the Creator God Almighty is like a set of loving parents that wants the best for not just some of their children, but for all of their children. But we all enjoy grace. As such, we should all deploy grace. Now, I know I'm getting diverted in my thinking here, and I started talking a little about Prince, and although I wasn't a huge fan of his music, I did enjoy some of it, I think, as everybody else did, and he was obviously a musical genius, and turns out he was a very nice guy. And a lot of this is coming out postpartum, so to speak, and after the fact. But anyhow, he spoke openly about his belief that there was the chemtrailing going on, and he was learning about some of the Illuminati and the secret societies. He was learning about some of the Satanists in his own, sometimes his own peers, in at least the groups that hung together loosely, the celebrities and whatnot. And this is a big issue. People can think, well, it's just a joke. Yeah, I say I'm an Illuminati because I know so and so, and they're very powerful, and Yeah, I'm a bit of a brown nose maybe in this, but I don't care. I have no respect. I don't believe in God anyhow. And so often this is the prevailing situation we have, is that so many people not only are reluctant to say they have faith in God and believe and trust and they feel that need and they're not ashamed. Like Jesus said, he says, whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this generation, I will be ashamed of him when I come with the throng of holy angels. Okay, these are the words of Jesus. So it's very important that we're not ashamed of God and of his son Jesus. And I don't think a guy like Prince was ashamed. Okay, I don't know where he stood. I don't know, how much he espoused his faith to others, but anybody that's ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And when it comes to chemtrails, it's guys like that that ask those important questions. As traumatic as it is, and it's not fun to be the harbinger of trauma, okay, because that's essentially what it is when you enlighten people and you help them to understand, look, this is really going on. Or there's something out of the book of Revelations, because there's striking similarities through some of these plagues being poured out upon the earth by these, quote, angels. And angels can be good or bad. The similarity, the common denominator is that they can both fly, the capability of flying.